You're welcome.
Oh. Like you walked up and
I'd like to bring up to the dais now and introduce to you, who I think he needs no introduction because you all know him, but for the first time addressing our major fundraiser, our largest fundraiser, our dinner dance, our Man of the Year this year fundraiser, and it is the fifth, only the fifth Executive Director of the Salesian Boys and Girls Club, Randy DiMartini. Randy has been working for the club and working for the club, if you can believe this cherub face here, for 37 years. Though he did tell me he started at 8 years old. I'm working the math out on that one, I'm just not sure. But he's no stranger to the club because, as he told the board, he is not going to only keep the traditions of the club that have been built by Father Orestes Trincheri, Father Larry Byrne, Angelo Fusco, Fred Scolari, Russ Gumina, but he's going to build and forge new traditions. So without any further ado, Randy DiMartini.
Welcome everybody tonight to this great celebration for Russ, of course, as it's most deserving. I think maybe we should have Russ be honored every year because of the great crowd that we have. I want to acknowledge our provincial Father Ted, our Salesian priest, the only Brother Joe Lockwood, our Salesian sisters, and of course all of you wonderful people that are here this evening. So the good news is, on behalf of our members of the club and our staff, which consists now of Sherry Houston, Jocelyn Staley, Vince Manfreda, Anita Yee, Francis Emmons, Jim Staley in the martial arts program, Mary Powelson, who's here tonight doing the performing arts, Paul Riley in the tutorial, and Thomas Bowles, and of course, Russ is still working for us, okay? So Russ is still on payroll. So we want to express our thanks to all of you, because The new Salesian Boys Club is now complete. It is funded. It is loaded with kids, and it's open for anyone. So I want to thank each and every one of you for all your At this time, I'd like to acknowledge Bob and Mike Nibby and Nibby Brothers Construction once again, and all the subcontractors who built such a beautiful facility in such a quick amount of time. So I want to thank them once again. Now let me shift gears a little bit. This morning we had a group of ladies come in and set up the silent auction along with Beth O'Hara, who did the beautiful arrangements on the centerpieces of the tables. So I want to acknowledge the Junior League ladies and the Salesian Mothers Club for all their work. I also want to acknowledge our sponsors. You saw their names walking down the corridor, the silver, the gold, and the platinum sponsors, and of course our 7 gala or gala, whatever you want to say, sponsors who are right above us on the banners and the rafters. Bank of America, Claudio Cipollina, Emil and Lenore Maionchi, Metropolitan Electric, Nick Duno, Richard and Janet Pellegrini, Jim and Marie Pachetti, Cheryl Stoma, in loving memory of Alice. And finally, Wells Fargo Bank with Chris LaRocca and Jerome. And I also have a special guest that I'd like to ask to come and stand by my side. His name is Mr. Mike Thorson, and he is the co-chairman of the Thorson Foundation. So Michael, if you would please come up here. So the story goes, last fall, while I was in that wonderful Tina Canipa production at the San Francisco Italian Athletic Club, Tony and Tina's wedding anniversary, Mr. Thorson came up to me after seeing my great cameo appearance as Elvis Aaron Presley, the king of rock and roll. And Michael says, hey Rand, he gave me a big hug because I hadn't seen him in so many years, and he says, Rand, I heard that you might be the new executive director of the club. I said, yeah, there's a possibility. He says, if that happens, give me a call, I'd like to talk to you. I said, okay. So obviously I was voted in the first of the year, and I called Mike, and we went and had that delicious dinner at the U.S. restaurant. Mike tells me, Mike says, start talking about old times, and I start talking to him about the club, and he says, so what are you exactly looking for? That's always a good question coming from a foundation. I said, you know, Mike, I'm looking for foundations like yours to come in and support the club annually. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for foundations to come in and underwrite the dinner for the black tie in honor of Russ. And without a blink of an eye, he looked at me and said, $100,000? Consider it done. So because Mike's foundation, which was founded by his grandfather in 1952, because his foundation is underwriting the dinner dance tonight, and because we've had $148,000 in sponsorships alone, and the ticket sales and the silent auction, which I think is officially closed now, Steve? All the money, because of all of you, will go to the Salesian Boys and Girls.
like to say that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a very special man in the audience named Bob Pagoni, because he introduced me to I also want to make sure that everybody sees that I'm making good on my word. I do have this check here for the $100,000 from the Salesian.
I want to congratulate Russell. 47 years the man has been down here working as hard as he could, so I want to honor him since he's most deserving of this award. Russell, I love you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to, at this time, before I bring up our speakers for the introduction, John Gumina will be doing the speaking, I want to just acknowledge a person and family. We've been fortunate to have Myra Pop on our board, but it's always been great to have Quinton's, and he'll always be the senator, but Senator Quinton Pop here joining us tonight. So Senator Quinton Pop, thank you. A long time supporter of the Student Boys Girls Club, and as well as a lot of other community functions in San Francisco, as well as in North Beach. And now I'd like to bring up a person who has been influential in San Francisco politics. He has been 3 times a supervisor in District 3, North Beach. While I've been president of the board here 3 times, I have not garnered the success that Aaron Peskin has garnered to be in city politics here and representing the city very well as North Beach. But Aaron, if you would come up, please. I believe there's Aaron's probably the biggest influential. He helped us very much, as you know, the building that we had to get up. There's always issues with the planning commission and everything like that. But sometimes the biggest issue is with the neighbors. And Aaron was very, very influential with the neighbors because our closest neighbor was his mom and dad. Thank you.
Maybe off to an incredible start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's truly an honor to be here with all of you on this really auspicious occasion, the Salesian Ball, and to honor the modest beginnings of this venerated North Beach institution and celebrate the man who has lovingly guided it throughout these many, many years, Russell Gumina. Earlier today, reflecting on this evening, I was struck by the relevancy of your work in our rapidly changing city and the parallels and consistency to the spiritual philosophy of your club's founder, St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco responded with empathy and with love to his fellow man and dedicated his life to the betterment and education of underprivileged and sometimes troubled youth suffering from the effects of rapid industrialization and urbanization in Italy's 19th century. I'm struck by the simple, obvious fact, your work, Russ, and the continued work of you, Randy DiMartini, and the club has taken on new significance and impact at this time in our city's history. Our city's fast-paced growth and progress for many feels as though they've been left behind. Can you imagine the feelings of children without strong families and support weathering these many changes? So now more than ever, we mustn't stray from using love, guidance, and education. And I know that sometimes It feels very hard to sustain and help lead the boys and girls in our midst to faithful and fulfilled lives. Thank you, Russ, for the gifts you've bestowed upon so many over the years, and for your awareness, your decisiveness, empathy, optimism, honesty, focus, and for so many, your inspiration. As you all undoubtedly know, I'm not Catholic. But I think St. John Bosco is smiling down approvingly of your efforts and the work of the Salesian Boys and Girls Club. Back here on earth at the Fairmont Hotel, I'd like to do my part and present you, Russ, with a proclamation on behalf of the City and County of San Francisco and the Board of Supervisors who voted this past Tuesday unanimously to name today, March 12th, Russell P. Gumina Day in the City and County. While this is not $100,000, I think it's priceless. And Russ, if you please come up, it's my honor to present this proclamation to you on behalf of the Board of Supervisors. And as Russ is coming up, you can see that it says a lot, Inco, but there's not enough that we can say. Thank you for everything, Russ.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to bring up, and I don't know how it worked out in the family of how it was a Democratic, the spokesman for the family, but I'd like to bring up John Gumina, Russ's oldest son, to introduce his father, our honoree tonight, Russ Gumina.
People that know my dad well know what a captivating storyteller he is. Which is why, for the last 20 plus years, as my family and I sat in the back of a packed room at this event, I would always hopefully ask him before he headed up for his remarks, "Dad, do you have a good story planned?" Almost every time he would say, "No, I don't. I would like to, but I want to make sure that I thank everyone." So tonight, to give tribute to my dad, I'd like to tell you a story. It's actually a story about my favorite story. This past December, my wife and I hosted my son Cooper's 4th grade Salesian basketball team at our house for a sleepover. As the kids were lying in their sleeping bags on the living room floor, getting ready for bed, I offered them the story. It's a story I've told to kids this age many times. The twist of the story always occurs by waiting to reveal the identity of the hero until the end. The short version goes like this. There once was a basketball player that grew up at the club. He went to Sacred Heart High School, where he became a second-team All-American, and subsequently received a full scholarship to play basketball at USF, one of the best basketball schools in the country at the time. After his USF basketball days, he was approached by his mentor and asked if he wanted to begin a career working with kids. As the story goes, the mentor told him, "You will never get rich, but you will help a lot of kids." It was then that this basketball player had a decision to make. Should he go to Boston, where he earned a guaranteed contract to play with the Celtics, or stay home, marry the girl of his dreams, and make no money working with kids? The best part of the story always comes when I tell the kids that the man in the story is my dad, and that he chose the girl of his dreams, my mom Dina, and the club over the Celtics. The reaction of the fourth grade boys on this night, though, was incredible. More on that in a minute. I think everyone here tonight can agree that we are fortunate that Dad chose my mom and the club back in 1969. It's a choice he's fully committed his life to every day since. Throughout his career, Dad has played a major role in some of the club's most extraordinary accomplishments, namely, including Girls in the Club, growing the scholarship endowment, and leading the recent $10.5 million club expansion and renovation project. These accomplishments have made a tremendous impact on thousands of young people and will continue to impact the youth of San Francisco for many years to come. But how did all these amazing things come to be? To know this, you have to know the essence of my dad. Despite his many nostalgic speeches delivered with tears over the last year, many of us growing up at the club remember my dad as a quiet, strong leader. He was a competitor. Whether it was ping pong, checkers, or a summer camp softball game, he never gave an inch. He always wanted to win, and he almost always did. He never let us put second place trophies on display at the club. I can't tell you the countless times I've heard my good friend Vince Manfreda, now assistant director, tell the story about when he made a top of the key hook shot over my dad to win a Saturday afternoon workout in 1987. I was on my dad's team that day. My dad stormed off in anger, and I actually celebrated with Vince. It was so rare, it was special. It's one of those many formative experiences that helped mold us into the people we are today. As a father, he and my mom were the perfect team. They modeled for my siblings and me what it means to be in a loving relationship. Despite the race that comes along with raising 5 children in San Francisco, they always found time for each other, and we literally never saw them argue. Together, they artfully weaved the club into the life of our household with great family memories, built at club events such as the annual ski trip and Camp Salesian in Middletown. We ate dinner as a family every night, hosted family parties with regularity, and made time to visit with our grandparents. We went to church every Sunday because, as Dad put it, a family that prays together stays together. My brothers, sisters, and I were blessed to attend Catholic school. I once asked my dad how he and Mom afforded to send us all to Catholic school in college. Dad simply said, "We did what we had to do because it was important to us." Today, as my mom looks down on us from heaven, my siblings and I, along with our children, are witnesses to my parents' commitment to family, faith, and a passion for serving youth. My brother Joe is a psychologist specializing in counseling troubled teens. My sisters Jen and Erin have made an indelible mark on San Francisco's educational landscape through their commitment to early childhood education. And my sister Lisa works daily as a physical therapist, helping young people with severe spinal cord injuries. And me, despite my dad's encouragement to go for it and become a tax attorney, like my siblings, I chose to follow what was modeled for us, and have found my vocation as an educator at Sacred Heart Cathedral. All 10 of the grandchildren are making their sacraments and are being raised in the Catholic faith. 7 of 10 currently attend Catholic school, and the others are on their way. Today, my dad continues his commitment to family, faith, and serving youth with his new wife, Jill, who we are happy to have as a part of our family. Dad, thank you for teaching us what it means to be a servant leader, what it means to embrace your life's vocation, and what it means to be a loving husband and parent. Now back to the reaction of the 4th grade boys at the sleepover at my house in December. So naturally, when they found out that the basketball player in the story was my dad, they were collectively surprised. One of the boys immediately asked me, why didn't he just go to the NBA and make money? Then he could have any girl he wanted. To that, I responded, well, if he did that, then I wouldn't be here today. And this is the incredible part. Coming from a fourth grade boy that barely knows my dad, he said, yeah, and if Russ went to the NBA, then we might not be here today because the club might not be the great place it is today. For those of you who aren't familiar with the story that I told the fourth grade boys, the mentor who told my dad you will never get rich, but you will help a lot of kids was Fred Scolari, former executive director of the club. I couldn't help but think of Fred that night and what he told my dad before he took the job at the club. And since I don't know a single person that would ever tell Fred that he was wrong about something, I will just say now that I respectfully disagree with this premise. There is no doubt that Dad has helped a lot of kids. However, I can't think of anything more rich than the life he's led and the legacy he's built. I love you, Dad. And I think I speak for everyone here tonight and the countless others whose lives you touched over the years when I say thank you. So without further ado, I'm honored to present to you this year's Salesian Boys and Girls Club Man of the Year, my dad, my hero.
I don't know how I'm going to do this tonight. One, I can't see. It's very dark here, and I had cataract surgery at the end of the month. 2 Johns had half of my speech. I would like to thank everyone for their presence here tonight. I have frequently refrained from these types of awards because I've always done it for the kids. But tonight I welcome the opportunity because I wanted to thank everyone for their support over my 47 years. It seemed like only yesterday that Fred Scolari called me in 1969 and asked me to come to work for the club. When I met with Fred, he told me that the board of directors had just approved building a new club on Powell Street, and he wanted me to come and help him run the program. I talked it over with my fiance at the time and accepted the position the next day. It has been a love fest ever since. A few years ago, my son Joe was asked to come to the club as part of our career counseling program and give a talk to our older kids about the medical profession and what kids needed to do to prepare themselves for today's job market. Joe prefaced his remarks by saying that there are two types of jobs in life. The one that you get, that you need to support yourself and your family, and the one that you get that you're passionate about. The club has always been a job that I have been passionate about, and I have done it with all my heart for all of these years. It has truly been a labor of love for me. And I feel like I have been so blessed to have had the opportunity to carry on in the tradition of the directors that preceded me. I have always felt it was something that I was predestined to do. Before I go on, I would like to take a moment to introduce my family and thank them for their support over the years. When Fred hired me, he told me that this was a husband and wife job because of the amount of time we would have to spend at the club. For the first 30 years of my employment at the club, I worked 6 days a week and 4 nights. My wife, Gina, and I had 5 children, and I accepted a job teaching part-time in the morning to make ends meet. I would leave the house at 7 a.m. in the morning and go to school and teach until 12:30. I would then leave and go to the club and work from 1 until 5, run home and gobble down my dinner so I could be with my family, and then come back to the club and work from 7 to 9 p.m. When I got home, I would then have to correct my papers and prepare my lessons for the next day. On Saturdays, I would go to the club and work from 10 a.m. until 5. Dina and the kids had to share me with the club all those years, but always took the opportunity to be with me whenever they could. They would go to camp with me and come on the ski trips, and frequently come down and have dinner with me so I didn't have to run all the way out to the sunset to be with my family. Somehow my kids turned out remarkably well. I would like to introduce them to you tonight. I'm so proud. My oldest daughter Lisa and her husband Tony. John, who made me cry, and his wife Shauna. My daughter Erin and her fiance Rodney. And my son Joe and his wife Joy. My stepdaughter Amanda is also here tonight with her friend Jerry, and 5 of our 10 amazing grandchildren, Nina, Dominic, Ryan, Nina, and Nico. I would also like to acknowledge my many cousins and dear friends who are here tonight as well. I appreciate their presence and love all of you very, very much. And last, but certainly not least, I would like to introduce my wife, Tilda. As many of you know, Jill and I met on a club cruise in 2006, about 3 years after Dina had passed away. We hit it off from the start, and were married a year later. Since then, she has been by my side at all club events, and has demonstrated her love for the Salesian Boys and Girls Club, time and time again. I didn't think I'd ever be married when Dina died, but God was good to me, and sent me children. Some people have difficulty finding the perfect spouse during their life. I was lucky enough to find 2. back to my calling to work at the club. It wasn't as dramatic as the apostles being called by Christ to go out and teach the nation. But to me, it was equally compelling. I have always felt I was meant to work at the club, but it was driven home to me just a few years ago when Jill stumbled across my old 8th grade autograph book from St. Peter and Paul. Jill was thumbing through the pages and came across a note that Fred Scolari had written to me, wishing me the best of luck at Sacred Heart High School. What I didn't remember ever seeing was a brief note at the bottom of the page which said, "Someday you will help me run this place." I was 13 years old at the time, and Fred was already acknowledging the fact that he saw something inherent in me that prompted him to say that. Well, here I am, 48 years later, reflecting on my life, recalling all of the good memories I have accumulated over the years. In my early years, before Randy was brought on board to help out at the club, I pretty much handled all of the coaching duties. The club was just for boys then and didn't have nearly the numbers that we have today. I coached hundreds of teams over the years and won countless championships. I can vividly remember coaching my son John's basketball team. We won 150 league games in a row. What makes that an even more remarkable feat was the fact that we never played a home game. The CYO wanted us to open our gym to outside teams, and I refused to do so because I said we wouldn't play unless our teams played in the games. As a consequence, they said we would have to play all of our games on the road. A few years later, I coached my son Joe's team, which was equally as good, winning 9 of 12 championships that they played in. John and Joe still argue about who had the best team. That was always the fun part of the job, and I even coached for a number of years when I took over as the executive director, winning some girls' championships as well. Unfortunately, as the program continued to grow, the fundraising duties at the club became all-encompassing and left little time for anything else. One of my first goals when I took over in 1988 was to include girls into the program. I have 3 girls and they always used to rag on me all the time. That was easier said than done, as it would likely double our budget overnight and force us to hire more staff. I finally convinced the board that this was the right move, and the club officially became the Salesian Boys and Girls Club in 1994. My other immediate goal was to establish an endowment so that we could help families with tuition assistance. I approached board member Ed Pachoco in the early 1990s and convinced him to make a lead gift of $175,000. Today, we have parlayed that gift into a $1.5 million endowment and give away about $125,000 a year in assistance. We also have a scholarship in place at the University of San Francisco that allows us to send 3 or 4 young men or women to the university on full or partial scholarship every year. Since its inception in the early 90s, we have sent over 50 young men and women to USF. I know that many of them are here tonight. When I look around the room, I see countless men and women who have gone through the club. They, like me, have so much to be grateful for and have spent the better part of their life giving back to a program that has been so instrumental to them. I have always felt that I have received way too much credit the success the club has had over the years. The club has always been about family. Everyone has pitched in to ensure the club's success. The club's alumni today reads like a who's list of successful businessmen and women in the San Francisco Bay Area, and there's lots to be proud of. Just a few weeks ago, a former member came in to see me at the club to say hello. He was an Afro-American young man that the club had helped over the years. He and his two brothers grew up in the projects in North Beach and were taken away from their mother because she was adjudged to be an unfit mother. They became wards of the state, but I was able to convince their family counselor that the placement of them with a foster family must have as a condition that they be able to continue frequenting the club. The club was the only stable thing in their life, and I didn't want to take that away from them. After bouncing around from family to family, I was finally able to find a young couple who not only was willing to take them in, but adopted them as well. St. John Bosco must have certainly sent them to me. The boys attended St. Peter and Paul Elementary and Sacred Heart Cathedral and Reardon High Schools respectively on club scholarships and continued to frequent the club through their teenage years. So here was this young man, some 15 years later, who came in to say hi and thanked me for everything the club had done for him over the years. He told me he was moving to San Diego with another former member of the club. He has been teaching in a preschool in the city and has offered to do the same in San Diego. I'm sure tears welled up in my eyes. I couldn't have been more pleased to learn how well he had turned out. Today, Jill and I went to a wedding at 1 o'clock for a former club member, Olga Rios, who is one of my all-time favorite club members. She has grown up through the club. She, like the young man I was just talking about, had a very tumultuous family life. I assured Olga that if she stayed at the club, we would continue to help her and I would be there for her and the club would be here for her. We sent her through Sacred Heart and USF. She graduated from USF. She is now teaching preschool at my girls' school. She married a biochemist from Chevron. So she's doing very, very well. I was so moved today at the wedding. She was so beautiful. And I think about all that the club has done for kids. It just moved me immensely. With the completion of the new facility, the Salesian Boys and Girls Club is well positioned to meet the needs of our kids for years to come. I love the Salesian Boys and Girls Club. And I will always be ready and willing and able to help out in any way I can going forward in the future. I want to congratulate Randy DiMartini on his appointment as not fifth, but the fourth executive director. And Randy, I love you too. And I want to challenge him to take up the mantle to continue to improve on the club's storied tradition. Thank you once again for supporting me over all these years and for this prestigious award tonight. I firmly believe that the sky is the limit.
wrap up our last year's Man of the Year. If Emil can make his way up to the podium. As he's making his way up here, I'd like to present Russ with the plaque that we have put together, that Randy has did the writing here. And Emil, I know he's getting here. Oh, here he comes, shaking everybody's hand. But I'm going to go ahead and to Russell Gumina, in appreciation for your 47 years of service as Assistant and Executive Director of the Salesian Boys and Girls Club. Your unending love, devotion, and dedication are a tribute and a testimony for your hard work with the many youth of this great city. Thank you for all your guidance and leadership.
I have to say one thing. Russ and I have been buddies since we were kids. And I always had a hard time in court with him. He was bigger, faster, better. But now, bad knees, he can't see. So what's a better time to take him on the court and limit who's laser pressure? Let's take him apart. What do you think? Can I do it? Never.
That concludes tonight, and it only begins tomorrow. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight.
Congratulations, Russ. We're so happy for you and you're very deserving. We love you.
Russ, thanks for everything. You're the best. Thank you very much.
Russ, I brought someone new to the dinner dance this year. She was asking me what it was all about, and I said tonight was like if you went to the Baseball Hall of Fame and they introduced Babe Ruth. That was you winning the Man of the Year award this year. To me, thank you for everything. We do all love you, and you're the best.
Congratulations, Russ, on 47 years. Thank you for everything. I'll never forget all you've done for me and for my family. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Russ, I appreciate everything, especially when you called me a prima donna.
I appreciate everything you've done from day one, and all best memories are you at the club, and push that damper in and pull it out. Thanks.
Congratulations, Russ. You're the man.
Congratulations.
Russell, we're so happy to be here for your big night. To say that this is well deserved would be an understatement. You've given your life to the club, and we're very happy to be here to celebrate your evening. Thank you. John Vigo from Sacred Heart Cathedral.
Hey Russ, since the moment I stepped into the club when I was a little guy, I was one, intimidated by you, but two, just in awe of you, like the legend. Couldn't be happy for you tonight. No one is more deserving than you are. Thank you for all the years of service. I know you're not going anywhere, but thank you for everything, Russ.
You want me to talk about Russell? Russell, Gumina, the best human being on the face of the earth. We love you, Russ. We love you.
Mr. Gumina, finally you've retired, but look at your accomplishment and look at that. Wow, only a Gumina could do it. Ciao, baby.
Russ, we go way back from Stockton Street. I wanted to say congratulations on over 40 years of doing a fantastic job at the club. Salute.
Congratulations, Russ. We are so excited to be here to celebrate you tonight for all the many lives that you've touched, the many youth, and the people that you've inspired and helped over the years. Congratulations and enjoy retirement.
Well, congratulations, and I know in your retirement you're still going to be very much involved in the club. And congratulations on all the accomplishments you made and the addition to the club. You've been talking about it and you made it happen, so congratulations.
Russ, you did an outstanding job. We really enjoy these events. I hope you enjoy your retirement. Good luck.
Congratulations. We've been together for many, many, many years. You're the best. You did a phenomenal job for Salesian. I'm proud to be your friend. Congratulations. I love you.
Congratulations, Papa. I love you. I love you so much. Congratulations on this very well-deserved honor. Love you so much.
I just want to say congratulations to my dad. So proud of him. And I love him so much.
Good evening, Dad. Congratulations and I love you. This is a very happy occasion and a well-deserved night to celebrate your vocation and your career of love and service. Just want to say that I'm so proud of you, and I always remember being the kid at the club who got to go home with you. All the kids around us loved you, but you were our dad, and that to us was just so very special. So thank you for being the man that you are, and I hope that you'll really enjoy a great evening and feel so good about all that you've shared with the community at the Boys and Girls Club. Love you.